Howdy folks, I'm afraid I've lost my voice, but let's just get on with it. I'm doing a redraw of this image, and here is the line work. I also lost the footage of the progress of that. So, yeah, what we're going to do is colour this with Pro Markers, which is what I coloured the original in all those years ago. So, if you hadn't figured it out yet, this is going to be my take on 2009 versus 2019. And I did actually start this in 2019, but I didn't finish it until 2020. That's because, as if you can't tell, I've not been very well. So, since about the 27th of December, I've been unwell. I had tonsillitis initially, and then it moved into my lungs. I got a bit of bronchitis, and yeah, now I'm left with this absolutely stunning voice for my voiceovers. So if I don't deserve a thumbs up for the artwork, please just give me a thumbs up for trying to do a voiceover while suffering with bronchitis. If I get through this video without coughing, it will be a miracle. So, as you can see, I changed a few things from the original. I know it only flashed up for a second, but I will bring it back later. One of the first things that I did was I actually made the characters quite a lot smaller in this piece. I thought that in the original one, the focal point was kind of them looking off into the distance, but you couldn't see a lot of that distance. So I really wanted to make something interesting of that distance in this one. So I did some Googling and I found these amazing paintings people have done of like fantasy sunsets where the clouds are swirling round. And I really wanted to do something like that. So I'll leave a link to my Pinterest board where you can see the pieces I looked at for inspiration to get where I got to, if that sort of thing interests you. I just have one board on Pinterest that I call something like artist inspiration and reference, and I just whack everything on there. I'm not organised on there. I forget about it every now and again, but in instances like this I remember it, so I will leave a link to it if you're curious. But yeah, I really liked this, the way that the clouds kind of spiraled around and then you still got that little bit of blue from the sky. That was in the original. When I did the original, I had like the blue sky leading towards the yellow. So a little bit about the characters in this piece then. These are characters from a role play that I used to be involved in 10 years ago, well, nearly 11 now. And it was called Final Fantasy Revolution. And the girl character, which is the one stood up, sticking her bootay out, her name is Evelyn, and she was my character. She was a thief. And the person that she's leaning on is Geminus, and that was my friend Mishy's character. And they were kind of both not villains, but like they didn't join the party with the best of intentions. And so the piece was originally called Longing for the Light but Knowing We Don't Belong. It's pretty emo, right? So yeah, these two just kind of clicked together quite well. Obviously they had like a character arc where actually they started to care about the people that they were working with, or and it was a lot of fun. It was everything I needed at the time, because towards the end of 2009 I was in a really dark place. I had a bad breakup and I didn't think I was going to recover from it. I certainly didn't think I'd be where I am now 10 years later. But anyway, these guys just really helped me get through everything, and RPing was like a gift through that period, because I didn't have to be miserable me anymore. I could be Evelyn for a while, so that was really nice. And so I have really fond memories of these characters, and although I was going through like the worst time, I still look upon these guys with so much fondness because of how much they helped me get over it. So yeah, this picture I remember at the time I drew it for Mishi, whose character is the boy character, because she helped me a lot as well. Yeah, sorry about this. This is like a day later and I'd forgotten to put my lights on. Again, I'll stress, I wasn't well. So my mind wasn't exactly, on top form. My mind is like my voice right now. Not particularly fabulous. Please seriously give me a thumbs up for the voice. But yeah, so the character design, as I say, is like 10 years old. And one of the things that I was really keen to do with this one was push the shadows a bit more than I did in the original. It's supposed to be a really bright sunset, so I thought like a really high contrasting shadow behind them, which I thought I did a really good job initially. And then, I don't know, like markers go down quite a lot darker than they dry. And I think, like I say, as I came back to this over a number of different days, it was almost like those skin shadows had just kind of faded. And I wasn't really sure what to do about it, so I think I just left it in the end. It's still a little bit darker than it was before. There you go, the lights come back on now. But it's not as good as it could have been. But yeah, I had a real thing for laces and belts, it would seem. So she has many of these. It was when I was colouring Geminis that I realised that I was going to lose some of that contrast I'd already got in the shadows, because Geminis has pretty much just wears a black outfit. So I do a base colour of grey and again put all of the yellows on. This pastel yellow is used on pretty much everything in this piece. But because the greys are so much darker than the darkest skin tones, I don't know, I think it kind of pushed those shadows in the skin that I'd put in even further away. These are really, really old Letraset Tria markers. They don't actually make these anymore, so they'd kind of dried up a bit, but they were the closest colours that I could find to the ones that I used for Geminis's top. In fact, I think I did use these Tria markers when I coloured it, because I used to use the two together. But the way I made it work was by putting a base coat down, and kind of like the wetness of that pulled the ink that was remaining in the Tria markers out. But yeah, they don't make those anymore. I think they replaced them with the brush markers, because they did dry up quite a lot, to be honest. But yeah, as you can see, the darkness in Geminis's shadows now is just kind of, I think it's just made those shadows in the skin just disappear. And I didn't really know what I could do about it, so I thought about it when I was working on the rest of the piece, but I didn't come up with a solution, so I just left it. Hopefully it's not too bad, but I was also feeling incredibly tired and not terribly well by the time I'd finished this, so forgive me. It still looks somewhat better than the original, I think. Something else I changed from the original here is, in the original I'd done like the belts on Geminis's boots in a green colour, and I don't know why I'd done that, because every reference picture I could find, they were red, so I did them red in this one. And here's Evelyn's belts. I remember a joke in the forum once where someone was like, where do they attach? And it was Anya's character, and she drew this picture of like the back of Evelyn's head lifting up her neck, and there's these belts just attached to her neck, plugged in, like Matrix style. Made me chuckle. I always leave hair till last when I'm doing characters. It's my favourite thing to do. It's like a reward for getting through the rest of the image. It's like, go on. You can do the hair now. And Evelyn's hair colour is, this marker is called Shale. I don't know, I've never seen this colour anywhere else, but it's kind of like a purplish brown, and I'm really into it. But when I used to scan the pictures in and post them on the forums, everyone thought hair was purple. I was like, well, it's not quite, but I remembered I'd forgotten to do the rocks in the water. I didn't want to give them too much presents. I just wanted to put something in the water to break up the boringness of water. And I also didn't want to give too much presents to this dock that they're stood on, because, they just stood on it, so it doesn't need that much. I just gave it a bit of texture and tried to make it not disappear into the background, because it would look like it wasn't on purpose, but at least make it blend in a bit, which I think I did okay. I got to do a little bit of shading with the shale colour, and then I used that trio marker again. And then I got my Prismacolor pencils out just to add a little bit more to the sky and to the water, just because there was a bit more I wanted to add that I couldn't achieve with my markers. Not too much, I just wanted to put a bit more shadow in the big grey cloud, and I got a bit more light in the yellow swirly bits as well. And tried to bring some more blue back to the water. Not too much though. And then this is my Derwent paint marker again. I just added some sparkles on the water, and then this was the finished piece. So a bit of a close-up for you. I really love how that sky turned out. Again, I'll have a link to my Pinterest board so you can have a look at what I was talking about, but I really hope you've enjoyed this piece. I enjoyed redrawing it, and here's the original again for comparison. Tell me which one you prefer. Do you like the original one, or do you prefer the 2019/20 remake? If you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Maybe a get well soon. Let me know which one you preferred. If you made it through this squeaky voiced video, then thank you so much. And I guess until next time, I will see you later.